You're listening to Sports and More with Chris and Thom.
Welcome back. It's the guys with the faces for radio and the voices for a silent movie.
This is Sports and More with Chris and Thom. I am Chris.
And I am Thom. And Chris, do you hear that right now?
I think I can hear you. I'm not sure though.
No. Do you hear what I'm hearing?
No. What are you?
That is the sound. That is the sound of my wife discovering that tonight's Monday Night Football game featuring the Packers against the Lions is on ESPN, not NBC like she thought. And we do not get ESPN in the Thom household.
Oh no! There's so many things destroyed.
That's why I'm down here.
Yeah. Hide.
This is a safe space.
Wait, you didn't tell her that ESPN does all Monday Night Football games? You didn't give her that heads up?
I thought we had this conversation last year.
Oh.
And so
And it's not local.
I said, hey, text your dad, get his ESPN Plus app, just real quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's not local. It's not local ABC or anything like that. I know that they usually do that for the Monday Night Football games for the local markets, but
Local ABC.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you take away the division standings. I'm going to send a quick text upstairs.
All right. So maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Don't quote me on that. I just know that sometimes happens. But while Thom is letting Morgan know, so he does not get killed.
I'm being a good husband right now.
Yeah. The MLB division standings, as you can see in the ticker below, we do have the reigning standings going on, but I'll do a quick rundown with the Rays still holding on to first place in the East with about a 5.5 game lead over the Red Sox. Rays should hold on with about, I want to say about 12 games to go. 5.5 game lead. They probably have that on lockdown. The White Sox hold a monstrous 11 game lead over the Indians. They will win that division. I don't think they've clinched it technically, but mathematically speaking, they have like a 99% chance of clinching that division, so book it. They won it. In the AL West, the Asterix hold a 6-game lead over the A's. Book that division. It's 6 games with 12 to go. You're not coming back from that deficit. Sorry, A's and all baseball fans, but it ain't happening. In the NL East, you have the Braves holding a 3.5 game lead over the Phillies. Yeah, the Braves kind of ran away with this one at the last second. The Mets, after the Javi Baez trade, have gone south quick, fast, and hurriedly. A Javi Baez swing at a curveball, it just goes south quick, and it never looks prettier. And the NL Central, the Brewers have that division on lockdown. I believe it's like a 12-game lead or a 13-game lead over the Reds. My bad. The Cardinals have overtaken the Reds for that second spot, and it's pretty much over. The Brewers are in the playoffs, but they haven't clinched the division as of yet, just because mathematical games left and stuff like that to go. And the Cardinals are the second wildcard spot as of this recording. In the NL West, Giants hold a 1-game lead over the Dodgers, who hold a 16-game lead over the Cardinals for the first wildcard spot. Book it, the Dodgers and Giants. Whoever wins that division wins the number 1 seed. Whoever loses gets the number 1 wildcard spot. Book that. And the Padres fall from grace, are now 3 games out of the wildcard spot from the Cardinals. The Padres are out. They're done. Goodbye. See you later.
Honestly, I love to see it personally.
Yeah.
Just because you know how my displeasure for Manny Machado.
I know you don't like Manny Machado very much. And our lovely friends, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they are not the worst team in baseball. That's the Baltimore Orioles, but because the Diamondbacks are so awful and are 48.5 games out of first place, it's just fun to talk about that. They could end up being 50 games out of first place by the time the season's over, and that's just funny to talk about. Sorry, guys.
I think that's just an accomplishment in itself.
I mean, it has to be.
Honestly. That's impressive. It's impressively bad.
I mean, they're 1 game better than the Orioles, but because the Giants are so good, it makes the Orioles look like they're closer to win that division because the Giants are 5 games better than the Rays, and that's why the Diamondbacks are so far out of it. It's impressively out of it. You hate to see it, but you love to see it when it's not your team.
Like if those numbers were flipped, that's majestic, and in that division, they almost are.
Yeah.
I mean. Let's be honest. They almost are.
It's close. It is dang close. So if it gets to that point, it's going to be a celebration time on the show because it'll be just a funny factor to talk about. But moving on, we have the NFL standings, which we do not have the ticker below you because I went to create a second ticker, remove the MLB ticker. ticker and OBS is a little bit dicey. Lots of moving parts there. You only have a certain number of characters.
And
So.
I know that we got a suggestion to put our game of the week on the ticker too. There's a lot of moving pieces. That'd be cool, maybe one day. But for now, we're gonna have to stick with one thing. We're limited right now.
Sorry, guys. If we had a technical person besides me doing this, we could do that because that would be someone who was just doing that part, and now you could actually focus on the show with Thom, not just.
I was gonna say you are our tech guy, right?
Yeah, so I'm pulling double duty, and yes, duty does mean poo. People had to go.
I don't even know if I still have.
No, I haven't done that enough. Don't worry about it. So let's start with the NFC North with the Bears in first place by half a game over the Lions and the evil green yellow team that hails from Green Bay, Wisconsin. The winner of that game will go into a tie for first place. If the Lions win, the winner of that game will be in first place in the division because they have a division win putting them in first place no matter what. So hopefully there's a tie and Bears fall into first place. So that's the only way that happens. Even though I don't want the Bears being in the playoffs because I want Nagy and Pace gone, but that's another story. In the NFC South, you have the Buccaneers and Panthers in first place, with the Panthers in first place because they beat the Saints. And boy, oh boy, did they beat the Saints. I believe Sam Darnold is a competent quarterback. New York Jets, you guys suck at football. That's all I got to say about that.
That's just what has happened to quarterbacks is they go places like New York, Jacksonville, Detroit, and they don't have a lot to work with.
Yeah. I mean, the fact Matthew Stafford was as good as he was in Detroit for all those years is an accomplishment in and of itself. In the NFC least, you have the Washington football team, Cowboys, and Eagles all tied for first place, but the football team in first place because they defeated the Giants. So they have the only division win. And that's just it's again 2 games in, so not a shocker as a whole bunch of teams tied at 1-1. In the NFC best, you could say, the 49ers are in first place in that division by, I don't know, NFL logic. That's all I can say about that. So you have the Cardinals tied with them at 2-0, the Rams tied with them at 2-0, and the Seahawks at worst at 1-1 because the Titans came back and beat them in dramatic fashion. So that's unfortunate for them.
Sure did.
Yeah, I mean, in the AFC North, the Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and Bengals are all tied at 1-1. And none of them have played each other, so there is no tiebreaker going on there. So clap it up, people, as a circle of death already.
It's really 3 tied for first, and then the Ravens in fourth.
No, they're all 1-1. Sorry, new notes came out because the Ravens.
That's right. You said that we didn't have the updated.
Yeah, so
standings there. Yeah, I'm looking at the last edition.
Oh, the old notes. Yeah, sorry about that. The new notes came out like at 6:00, so they were updated.
Oh, I did pick the wrong ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they were updated. At the AFC South, the Texans and Titans. Yes, you heard me right. The Texans and Titans are tied for first in the South at 1-1, with the Colts and Jaguars at 0-2. The Colts with Carson, no ankles, Wentz are currently 0-2. It's not looking pretty for them, which is saying something because Phillip Rivers, no arm himself, led them to a wild card spot. So not a good start for the Colts. Sorry, all our Colts fans and friends out there, but not looking good. And in the AFC East, the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots are all tied at 1-1. I believe the Bills are in first place because they have a win over the Dolphins. The Patriots win is over the Jets, who are 0-2, being as bad as always. So I think that's how it works. It's hard to tell because NFL standings are nonsensical and silly. So that's all I can say about that. And the AFC West, shocker of shockers, the 2 first place teams in that division are the Broncos and the Raiders. Yes, that's right, the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams at 2-0. Chargers and Chiefs at 1-1. The Chiefs blowing an 11-point lead in the second half to the Ravens, giving them a huge win in our Week 2 picks, which I don't know how that happened. I don't know how the Chiefs blew that game.
I wasn't confident in that pick, man.
Neither was I.
Mostly because I didn't take it. You picked the Chiefs.
I was very confident in my pick. I was like, the Chiefs will win this game. It'll be close.
I was very confident in your pick.
But the Chiefs found a way to blow the game. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So, like we say, it's only 2 games in, so everything can change. Remember, the Bears were in first place through like 6 weeks of the NFL season last year, and the NFC North ended up making the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. So a lot can change, especially in a 17-game season. But for now, we had the fun of saying the Raiders are in first place in the AFC West, and the Broncos are in first place in the AFC West, and they have the two worst quarterbacks in that division by a long shot. Although Derek Carr is balling this season.
He is. I mean, and to put him in the bottom half of that division is saying something about the top half. I mean, you got Mahomes and you got Herbert.
Yep.
So, I mean, two young quarterbacks hard to beat.
Oh yeah, he would probably be the second best.
Even though they were just beaten, but like hard to beat on talent, I should say.
Yes, you can beat them, but you have to put a lot of teamwork in to beat them because they are that talented of quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Tom.
It's got to be a bad night for one of them, plus a really, really good defensive night.
Oh, absolutely. And Tom, why don't you take away this next segment? Because I know you brought this up to me. I believe it was 2 days ago, and I just completely whiffed on putting in the notes to you last night because it was, I don't know what I was doing, but bring it in because we are doing this at the last second like we always do on this show.
Like we always do. I managed to get this on Facebook, by the way, less than 2 hours before we started recording.
Yes!
But it happened. I made it 3 weeks in a row, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we are going to have a grievances draft. And what is a grievances draft? First of all, we adopted this from Barstool Sports back in July. They posted a board of about 25 kind of daily pet peeves that people have. And so what we're going to do is, because we love to complain about stuff, is we're going to go through and we're going to draft one from each row. So each row, you see the number ones. And for those of you who are not watching on YouTube or listening to this, we have 4 or 5 rows.
Yep.
And so row 1 is all the number ones with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in parentheses. And then obviously you can follow through. So these are just daily things that like just kind of annoy people in general. And we're going to pick 5 of them, our top 5, one from each row. And there's some tough decisions here because there's some stuff that really just kind of irks me, grinds my gears. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to list each one in the row, and then Chris and I will pick the grievance, the pet peeve, the whatever you want to call it, and explain why we chose what we chose. So, Chris, I'll go ahead and read the first row.
All right.
But seeing as I had the first pick in our fantasy draft, I feel it obligated to give you the first pick tonight. And it's not like we can't pick the same things. But, I'll let you have a first here tonight.
Thank you. I need it.
All right. So, along the first row in the first round of the grievances draft of 2021, we have pandering politicians, people who rush off the plane, and Chris and I discussed this, rushing off the plane or don't rush off the plane and just sit there. People who hold the door when you're too far away. Apple changing their plugs or their charging cords
That's
too
a big
often
one.
or at all.
That's the big one.
And then Chris Berman doing his Car Shield commercials, which I believe is Car Shield is a cut rate insurance company.
Yes.
He's very loud and boisterous on. So, Chris, what do you got?
So this is tough. I actually the Chris Berman one. I love those commercials because I love Chris Berman. So that is actually not a grievance for me.
Honestly,
I actually love those. So for me, it's pandering politicians. It grinds my gears like no one else. I'm sorry, people, we don't do politics on the show, but as Tom knows, the only thing that grinds my gears more is people who just say things just to score political points, not because they believe it, not because they believe it's going to be the best policy, but because they want to score points for the constituency who have no care about the constituency. So that is number one. It grinds my gears. I don't care what side of the aisle or if you're in another universe, it grinds my gears.
Wow. All right. I didn't know I didn't think you'd go that route, but
it's annoying.
I definitely see it. And it's up there for me. I don't know. I kind of went back and forth between two right here. But ultimately, I'm going with Apple changing their plugs.
Yeah.
I have now in my lifetime witnessed three different Apple charging plugs.
I think so, yeah.
Charging plugs. We had the original one that kind of, you got your iPod that had it. The
big
iPod, or iTouch, the big one, yeah.
The big blocky one, yeah.
Yep, exactly. And I think my first iPhone had that one too.
Yep. And
then you had the lightning cord. So everything had to get switched out for the lightning cable because all that. And then, eventually you lost your headphone jack too. So you had back when when I didn't have, or when I had the one set of headphones that came with the phone,
Mm-hmm.
you lose those. You got to now get an adapter
Mm-hmm.
to plug your old, headphone jack, the old style. I can't believe we have to say that old style now.
Yeah.
But here I'm like this guy,
Yep. The audio jack that
and
we
then
use.
now back in December or January, I bought my wife a new phone for Christmas, and there's a new plug even now. And even worse than that, it only came with an adapter with the new iPhone that I got her, and it did not actually come with a charger. I had to order a charger from Apple because you don't get one with the phone. You get an adapter, but the adapter does not actually fit the lightning plug. I don't like. All right, that's why it gets me. It's like they're just getting you to spend more and
Yep.
more and more money
Oh yeah.
when you've already spent thousands of dollars on their technology.
Yep. That was number two. It was a close number two on my list. I
Yeah.
almost went that way, but number one irks me to no end. So I'll take row two, and then I'll let you lead off that one. So in row two of this list, we have replying all to company emails, blasting music in public, cash only bars, or cash only anything in our Bucs. For that, to clarify for that one, wacky wedding entrances, cash only five items or less lines not existing.
So like not having an express line
Yes,
at the
no
grocery
express
store
line.
sort of deal.
Yeah.
I don't. All right. that one's up there too because there sometimes you get you're just trying to get something quick,
Yeah.
but then Granny in front of you has 100 items. But I'm gonna go. Oh, see, blasting music in public gets me too. There's people that back in college at the gym did that, and I didn't like
Yeah.
it. But I'm gonna go with replying all to a company email.
Mm.
All right, listen to me here. If you reply all to a company email and you're not intending to reply to everybody or it doesn't apply to everybody, you need to stop. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had a deal going on at work, and everybody was replying all. But granted, the game was trying to involve everybody from the bank. I think it was a bingo game or something, and it was trying to involve everybody, trying to get like all the replies to get everyone to start joining in. Instead, it just made me resent the fact that it was going on. We got probably about 20 emails throughout the day, and then people were replying to the emails and just like, oh goodness. I mean, we get hundreds of emails a day anyway, and so all of that just adding to it was not necessary. Quick story about replying all to email. So my first job out of college, I worked for a CPA firm. So all of us interns were learning like workplace etiquette and stuff during orientation that first week. As the woman from HR is telling you us all, unless you are replying all to a small group, do not reply all. Somebody replied all, and not one of the interns, a partner from one of the branches replied all to an all company email to say something like, nice, thank you. And it popped up on her screen as she is explaining this. So she turns and goes, Exhibit A. Just like, it's perfect timing. So for me, because of like it's a real thing that I experience like almost every day, like that just bugs me. It just bugs me.
You also hate group text, so that doesn't surprise me that you go that route with your pick because you just hate anything that has a reply all feature. So you just
Was it my freshman year or my sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
Because you were there.
I was actually on the executive board for FCA that year. I was actually on the team that year.
Yeah, that I was too, and that's why. Yeah. I got like 57 text messages.
I
was at my dad's birthday dinner.
Not happy.
I wanted to throw my phone.
Very happy.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
It was like paint colors for the music stand or something. Just pick something.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep. It was fun.
Anyway.
You were not happy with us. So for me, it's blasting music in public. I just keep it down, keep it to yourself. I understand you don't play your music. No problem. Just don't interfere with everybody else's enjoyment of what they're doing. Just be courteous, people. I mean, these other things, the cash only bars, I usually carry cash with me, so it doesn't bother me all that much. Wacky wedding entrances, I love those. I think those are fantastic.
I do too.
And the cash only things, I don't really if the 5 times or less, like it's a minor thing, but if you have one of those like self checkout lines, you can correct that immediately. So it's like
Right. And I mean, it's only every once in a while that becomes a real inconvenience.
Right.
It's not like every time you go to the grocery store there you wish it was there, but
yeah.
I mean, it's just nice to have sometimes.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I like your pick, man, because I know how you like to enjoy your time and your quietness too at times, and it's not always peaceful then when you've got people just playing music out of their phone or whatever. It's like we've got these guys.
Yeah. Headphones. Please
for a reason.
use them. All right.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I'll go ahead and introduce round 3.
Yep.
Round 3, starting off strong. People obsessed with weed. Yes, the ganja, the Mary J.
The chronic.
The chronic. That's a new one. I've never heard that one. All right, the next one. People who don't use turn signals. I'm going to contain myself. Providers eliminating channels without warning. This could be streaming
Tonight.
or cable. Oof. Tonight, yeah. Filled hotel fridges. So those the ones that come with like the $19 sodas. And, 30. Well, not 19. A soda is like $5, and a candy bar is $3 or something like that. The overpriced, filled hotel fridges that you can't put your own stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who honk too quickly at the light when it turns green.
Okay.
Chris.
This is easy. This is an easy one. It's people who don't use their turn signals.
Thank you.
I ride with Voldick all the time, and he never uses it. So the Voldick, you've seen him on the show. He will be driving, goes to make a right turn, and I'm yelling, "Blinker! Blinker!" until he turns it on because it just annoys me to no end. They doesn't use it. I do all the time driving through Springfield. Springfielders are notorious for not using their turn signals. It is the biggest pet peeve of mine that they don't use it.
I'm convinced that once you kind of enter Springfield city limits, turn signals just don't exist anymore.
They are not a thing. They don't exist, and you use the wrong ones at the wrong time, and you always put them on at 5, or you put them on like 5 miles before you need it. So
all right. I don't know which is worse, leaving it on
or not using it.
And like I'm following someone that has the turn signal on for a mile and a half. It's like, just stop. Or not using it at all. I mean, like you said, where they flip it on, but then they do something different. Like my mom calls that the fake left go right.
I any turn signal
it's a
foul
juke move. It's like it's a vehicle juke move. It's just where am I gonna go?
Any turn signal foul I don't like any of those. I don't like any of them, so I'm throwing them all into one basket because I hate all of them.
Agreed. That is huge. That might be close to like my number one of all time.
That's probably number one all time.
That is pretty close. That's pretty close.
It's annoying.
We'll get to my number one of all time later, though.
Okay.
All right. Introduce round 4.
All right, round 4. Since we agreed on round 3 rather easily, the first part of round 4 is stinky food in the office, the Netflix top 10 section, loud cars, dirty deli knives, young salespeople. Tom, what you got in this row?
All right, I know. All right, so we're talking about annoyances here.
Yeah.
Dirty deli knives, that's just a health hazard. Okay, I'm not even gonna address it. It doesn't belong on this list. Dirty deli knives, that's just like grounds for closure.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna touch that one. For me, loud cars. I can see, So and we're talking like obnoxiously loud cars with either with a lack of a muffler or an overkill on the muffler system. Yeah. So right now I live on the main road through town, which I know is not saying much in a town of 400 people, but all the traffic has to come through pretty much in front of my house. And then growing up, we were around some major streets in Springfield, and so a lot of traffic through the neighborhood kind of connected. We were on the corner street, so we had two roads going through there. And without fail, there's some redneck who's missing a muffler because he hit a speed bump a little bit too hard on his poop box. And I'm going to use that because it's crap box. It's a 90s box, but and it just fell off.
Yeah.
On County Line A. So I mean, so, and that is what when you hear like the rolling through at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't like. Oh,
Yeah.
Because all right, and now I got kids, so I got these guys rolling diesel, and with their tiny things just overcompensating in front of my house. So that's what I don't like. Then to address the other part of it, the overkill on the exhaust systems as well. Those guys with the sports cars who just like to rev it up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you don't sound cool. You sound like when I'm hearing that outside or from inside my house, I'm hearing some guy who put a fart can on a Honda Civic. Like that's what it sounds like. I'm not impressed. I don't think, oh yeah, he's got a super fast sports car. He's got a Porsche. No, I think of a rice burner sitting on the corner. Someone turned on a blender. That's what it sounds like. So stop doing it.
I'll agree with you on that one. The singing from the office doesn't bother me. My sense of smell is not there at best. I usually smell the food that I want to smell. Everything else I just ignore and I don't notice it. So, and
I've been the guy with the stinky food in the office, so I can't say no to that one.
Yeah, so the loud cars is the one that bugs me. It's usually the pickup trucks at like the middle of the night driving down Westchester Boulevard. It's like midnight and it goes and it wakes up my dog. She barks. She wakes me up. I'm like, oh, okay, now we have problems. Don't wake me up when I'm sleeping.
Done did it.
Yeah, now you're done did it. All right, Tom, take away with the final round of the grievances draft.
All right, final round of the grievances draft. We have virtue signaling, driving the speed limit in the left lane, and we'll say specifically, any left lane, but specifically like the highway where you got a passing lane. People who block the moving walkway. I'm assuming they're talking about the moving walkways at the airport. Do we also put escalators on there? I don't know. I stay still on an escalator. No, the moving walkway is meant to speed up traffic.
Moving walkway is different.
Okay. All right. Then cone cups, like by the water cooler. Just a tiny little.
I love those.
Or on a golf course, I
love those.
All right, and you might have to help me with this one. I didn't really understand doctors' rackets.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Explain that one to me. I didn't really understand doctor's rackets.
It's all the doctoring stuff you have to go through. When you first meet a doctor, you do a physical, you pay for the physical.
Just like all the hubbub and all the hoops you got to jump through.
All the hoops you have to jump through to get to
big
actually
dog and pony show.
Yeah, to get an actual diagnosis, you have to go through all these doctors, pay thousands of dollars in medical expenses just to get a diagnosis of you have a cough. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I understand that one.
Okay, go ahead and pick then, man.
Okay. Again, we're going controversial. We're going someplace we don't go on the show. Virtue signaling. Just stop it. Behave yourselves. Do not just say something to get people to like you, comment, share, whatever. Have an original thought, an original opinion, you morons and you silly people. Done.
Simply put.
No.
All right. So, I mentioned earlier, people who don't use turn signals is like close to my number one. My number one, grievance, pet peeve, whatever of all time, driving the speed limit or under in the left lane.
That's a problem.
I have a lead foot.
Yep.
And that is that is evident by the fact that I got pulled over about a month ago, going a little fast. But left lane drivers, the left lane is for passing, the right lane is for cruising. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you're not, and here's another thing. Pass and get back over.
Yes. Or
don't pass. If you're going like half a mile or a mile faster, like you're creeping over. That's not doing it. If you're getting in the left lane, you got to speed up and get over because there's 20 cars behind you going a lot faster than you want to go.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And this is just I see this a lot on like I-39 and I-55.
Yes.
You just get and I don't know what it is about this state. Missouri drive. It's always Missouri plates. Mm-hmm. It's always Missouri plates. They're just pedaling along in the left lane. I'm like, and so I feel bad passing in the right. I feel like a jerk. But it's necessary sometimes. I'll pass regular cars on the right. You know what's bad is when I pass a semi on the right, which is actually really dangerous. You should not do that. But when they're going that slow, sometimes it's just like I need to get out of the way because it's dangerous. Sit this close behind. I don't know what's happening up there. Yeah. But left lane drivers, just Get back in the right lane where you belong. Enjoy yourself. Let us get out of the way. Let us go.
I mean, you sound like you picked up some of my habits from my driving style. I'll pass the right lane when I have to, and even if I don't have to, I'll just say, nope, sorry, gotta go around you. Go in the right lane, zip back over in left lane.
I picked up some bad habits with you following behind me on some of the ICFCA tracks. Do we want to talk about the 90 miles an hour in St. Louis?
No.
You in the van. The 10-passenger van.
Just weaving in out traffic.
What is he riding my You were riding my bumper.
Because we had to get through traffic. I had to be on top of you to get through the holes.
We were the flow of traffic.
Exactly. It was fantastic. We created our own flow of traffic because I made you create a flow of traffic. I said, we're going. Let's go. Enough of this.
For those who are with administration at Illinois College,
we did not get a ticket. We were safe. No one got hurt.
We were safe, and there was only minor bump drafting.
No damage was done. I was perfectly safe the entire time. Thom is simply overreacting to expert level driving.
I am overreacting. But so that will be. I tried to repost it on our Facebook page, the Grievances Draft. I couldn't, for whatever reason, get it. So I might actually have to go back to the original post from Barstool and share it to our page.
Yeah.
But if you're on YouTube, you've seen the image. If you're listening in, you go back and check it all out and tell us your top 5, one from each row, or maybe you got a few that are tied because they're that bad. Let us know what really gets you going and riles you up.
Absolutely.
Before we get into Chris's a special segment, we'll say.
Yeah.
I gotta throw this in here because it always waits till the end. If you have made it this far, we appreciate you, and we just want to ask that you help us continue to grow this channel. Like, share, and comment on our Facebook post or on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, also subscribe and hit that notification bell. Toggle notifications down to all. That way you will not miss a thing that we post. We appreciate you. I know that some people don't always make it to the end, so I'm going to throw this in the middle here. We just love sharing this stuff with you, and we want you to share it with those that you know as well that may not be connected with us yet.
Absolutely. And with that being said, let's get into a very special Thom's Take. But before we do that, we got to hit you with that intro that we love so much.
Let's get serious, because this is Thom's Take.
Oh, it was good to be back off that intro. We missed it last week, and because this is a special Thom's Take, we actually have a Chris's take. Holy Toledo, Chris is giving a take, and we're going to be talking about...
I don't know which direction you are in the screen.
Yeah, no, you're perfect pointing.
I'm pointing in both.
Yeah, so. Yeah, whichever way. Yeah, so we're going to talk. Chris is going to talk about cryptocurrency because it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And yes, I know the market's not good right now, and so because it's a subject that Thom's also interested about, I thought it'd be good just to give a brief synopsis about it. What cryptocurrency is like, just to help people who might want to invest in it. And to do that, I added in a PowerPoint because what good is doing this without a PowerPoint to help me through this, because Chris is an idiot and he can't just speak his words in plain English. So what is cryptocurrency? And it is basically and this is from a Coin Bureau video I watched. It's a 22-minute video that helps break it down because it's hard to break down what cryptocurrency is in like 5 minutes. So that's what we're trying to do here. So I apologize if this leaves you more confused than ever because that's the only option I have. And it's very much just digital currency. Essentially, it's similar to your regular currency, like a debit card, stuff like that. But you can use it. It's all digitalized. Nothing's in an actual paper or coin. It's all online. And for those of you who play video games, think of it as like credits in Mass Effect. The entire currency is digital. It's all on your wrist. You can pay like that. That's all it is. But also, it's all owned by you, the individual. No bank owns it. No one owns it. It's just your money. There's no bank you house it in. It's just all for you, which is kind of cool, which makes it a lot easier. And so, plus side, you always have access to it. Downside is if you lose your access codes, which you need to get to that specific currency, you have luck. USOL, man. Sorry about that, but that's what happens.
That's rough.
And all records are recorded on computers. Shocker, if it's digitalized, it's going to be recorded on computers. So these are big, massive networks of computers. So they handle transactions. They encourage transactions between computers, and it helps increase the currency. And that's kind of what it is. That's the simple part of cryptocurrency. So going on to the next step, the common misunderstandings of currency. Contrary to popular belief, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. It's not just Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ethereum. There's thousands of them out there, and I can't list them all because I don't know them all. I don't even want to know them all because there's too many to know them all. And going on to using just going to shout out Coinbase, and you can see all these currencies out there that you can invest in Coinbase, and you get you see the volume is just massive, and it makes no dang sense as to why there's so many out there. So there's two types of coins.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Sorry, again.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoins. Chris is typing.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Chris is Bitcoin. Chris is typing. Strikes again. We have Ethereum's out there. You have Culver is another type of currency you probably never heard of. There's also the Graph, another currency no one's ever heard of. And then there's two types of these cryptocurrencies. Again, common misunderstanding. It's not just coins. Coins are what you normally think of, where it's made by computer networks, it's made by people accessing and creating a network from the ground up, and that's your typical Bitcoin, as it is, or Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, it just kept on saying Bitcoin. Every time I put Bitcoin, I just said, screw it. It's just Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to say that in Italian.
Yeah. So Bitcoin is your traditional coin. Is a network sort of from the ground up, build itself on its own, and it makes its own coins. Tokens are the other type of currency where you kind of have a network and makes it easy and fast, like 5-10 minutes make a new token, and that's the other style of currency, and that's Ethereum. Ethereum is more of a token based system than a coin based system. So those are your two types of currencies, and which leads you into the next topic: are they safe? Because we all hear the stories and rumors about how they're used by hackers and how's the dark market. You have all the people just freaking out, and it's a yes and no question. Yes, because it's your currency. If they're a big currency like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have great safety, great security. You are not gonna get hacked in that manner. And you had to crack 51% of the computer networks just to get into your account. And there's like tens of thousands or millions of computers that hack all at the same time. Chances of that happening are slim to none. So it's usually safe in those networks. But it's also unsafe because you have the new small ones that prioritize getting speedy transactions done, doing it that way, and then those get hacked frequently because, well, they're not safe. So it's kind of like a bank. If you have a good big bank that has good security, your money's rather safe. It's a small local bank, think GTA 5 style, it's not necessarily safe there. Now and then.
Okay, hold on real quick. I work for a small community bank. No. They're still safe.
They're still safe, but it's like you're not thinking of like
they're not gonna be locked down with bulletproof glass.
Right.
And, it's 1 foot thick vault.
Right.
I mean, but you're gonna have.
They're gonna be safe. It's just the volume of safetyness.
It's two different levels.
Yeah.
It's two different levels.
The levels of safetyness. That's what I was trying to establish. I'm not trying to say they're unsafe. I'm just saying it's not like you have vaults and vaults of steel-proof things you have to blast open.
Vaults of vaults. Yeah.
Right. So understanding the value. This is where Thom is really trying to understand it, because Thom is a dollars and cents guy. He wants to understand where the value comes from because it makes no dang sense to us. And the value is based on what the network does or how the currency is created. So like Bitcoin is created by itself. It takes a long time. It's like gold in a sense, where it takes forever to create it, and it's a deflationary currency. So less is being made than is being required. So that's what causes the price to go up. Or you have Ethereum, where you have a market where it can use their network to create other tokens, other apps. So it's kind of a ability to create more things. So that's why it has values, because it does a whole lot of things besides just its tokens that it makes itself. Bitcoin is, of course, the standard of cryptocurrency. Shocker, it's the biggest, it's the largest, it's where most coins place their value on. So if Bitcoin goes up, the market goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, the market tends to go down. So Bitcoin's kind of like your index, but that's slowly changing. A lot of people think Ethereum is going to be the big token market that's going to create a secondary market of cryptocurrency, which is where the growth should be happening. And that's where I think is going to actually be happening in the long term. Is the tokens Ethereum will get to where Bitcoin is now in like the next 5-10 years. So that's where I think the market will go at this point. Volatility. Why is it so volatile? Well, that's another easy answer. No low information on shareholders. The people investing have low information because it's so complex that they hear one thing, they freak out. And you can lend, save, or borrow without third party. So there it's decentralized. There are no regulations. Which means it's wild speculation sometimes, and it just creates less control on the prices. So less control means more volatility, but the volatility can lead to great things or bad things, and that's something you have to accept with the market. And shareholders are emotional. You hear the one bad news, and people jump ship. Right now, the big concern we have is that I'm going to put it out there, people. We're going to talk politics here. The Democratic Party is trying to control cryptocurrency. That's scaring the living daylights out of cryptocurrency buyers because a lot of us have cryptocurrency, so we do not have to deal with government control or regulations. It's safer that we believe it's safer that way, and it has a greater value that way. And with that happening, it's kind of killing the market right now because people are selling it because they're afraid of this new spending package where that's being floated around that could happen. Also, inflation is going crazy right now, and there's no trust in any market right now. So it's kind of a double whammy right now. So the markets are down all across the board because of inflation going on. But the good news is that the currencies tend to increase in value. If you look at Bitcoin in 2016, 5 years ago, one Bitcoin was worth $602.84. If you look at Bitcoin as of yesterday, one Bitcoin was worth $47,205.02. That's a 7,730% increase in the price. So yes, it may go up and down like crazy on any given day, but the trend is well up. So ride the wave, deal with the fact that it goes up and down like a pogo stick, but it generally goes up. If you can have the diamond hands, as they call it, you are in good shape. And what currencies do I currently have? Ethereum is the main one. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's going to be the Bitcoin of the future. It's going to be that. What Bitcoin is to coins, Ethereum will be the tokens. And Solana, which is a competitor to Ethereum that at one point was almost triple its value from when I bought it, and it tripled in like 2 weeks. It's now going down with the market, so it's kind of one of those things where it's up and coming. It could do what Ethereum does, and with a cleaner source of energy that it creates it off of. So it's one of those things where you have to kind of read the market and go with that. And that's really what's going on in cryptocurrency. It's a strange market. It's a strange world, and it's kind of hard to digest. And even that's not a great explanation. It's the bare minimum of what's going on in cryptocurrency land.
That's honestly, I learned a lot tonight because I really, we're finance guys.
Yeah.
We're finance guys, but I don't know a lot about crypto because it's so there's so many ins and outs. It gets complicated really easily.
Yeah.
And so things in my mind, because, a lot of times I think black and white, like, there's two sides to a coin and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas like right here, there's a lot of different channels that things can get muddled up pretty quickly or can go really good, really bad, really quickly. And so like, that's to me, like what is so interesting about it is there's so much that can be done with it. And there, like you said, there's thousands of different types and or different cryptocurrencies available. There's two types of, but then it's really, there's so much that can be done with it, and we have only scratched the surface.
Yeah, which is why there's the rumor that the Fed's going to create their own cryptocurrency for the United States government in 5 years, and that's when the market will probably crash for cryptocurrencies. That's the expectation people have, and that's why any legislation that comes through for cryptocurrency, people lose their minds and like this is the end times. And it usually doesn't come about. If you just sit back and be patient with it, it'll probably not happen for the next like 5 or so years because it's going to take time for the government to catch up, and the government, as we know, is too bloated for its own good to move fast with anything.
Fair enough. I don't argue with that, but well, I'd like to go into something that's a little bit less complicated, a little easier on the brain, if you will. And you know me, I'm a food guy, okay, and I like good food, and by good food I mean food that is bad for you. Okay, this is not body by kale. Okay,
definition of good food.
Right, like soul food is not good for your body. It is good for your soul. It makes you feel good inside.
Oh yeah.
So one that I have done some research, and yes, by research I have actually done the eating,
Yeah.
is chicken sandwiches from fast food restaurants. I love fried chicken sandwiches, and to me, that like there's a lot of different elements that go into a fried chicken
Mm-hmm.
sandwich. Okay, and I left out like sit down type restaurants, but this is like places that have a drive through or that you can take it to go fairly easily. You can eat it on the run. There's a lot of different things that go into it. One is obviously the main event. You got to have a good juicy piece of
Mm-hmm.
chicken with a good solid breading on it, and the breading itself has to have flavor. The bun is just as
Yes.
important as the chicken. If the bun is bad, the chicken is not gonna taste well.
Yeah.
You can have a dry bun with an amazing piece of chicken, and it's not gonna uh, step up to the
Yeah.
plate. Then the toppings. Sometimes it depends on what's there, but I can go simple. I can go extensive. It's got to have pickle on it though. You have to
Mm-hmm.
have pickle. For me, that's number one, and in some
Yeah.
cases that's all you need. But like some sort of sauce or mayo or a special sauce sort of deal, um, or your lettuce, tomato, that sort of thing on top of it as well. But I think pickle and some sort of dressings, that sort of deal, got to have it. So, and then on top of that, how does it travel? Can I eat it on a road trip, or do I have to be parked somewhere or take it all the way home because it's that messy? So, I'm not going to be ranking scores here, but I'm just going to rank. I tried 6 fast food sandwiches, and this is over a long period of time, pretty much including my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't just go out yesterday and eat 6 chicken sandwiches. Okay, you guys in the comments are probably going to say, "Oh, you look like you did." Yeah, thanks. So, um, anyway, here we go. Number 6 of the ones I tried, the lowest one, McDonald's, and this is not the McChicken. Okay, this is not the McChicken. They had
Uh,
like their new specialty
is the crispy
chicken
chicken?
sandwich, the crispy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It's dry.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bun is good. The bun is good. They use different pickles. That's good, but it's dry. There's no sauce. It's just like it's kind of rubbery. And so it's kind of like I'm chewing on a shoe. Like it's a decent tasting shoe. And honestly, when I first tried it, I was like, okay, McDonald's, like this is all right. And the more I got into it, I'm like, okay, it's not exactly as good as I was expecting.
Right.
There's not a lot to it. But then their spicy version of it is wait. I've had that
Oh.
too.
Yeah.
It's like it kicks my teeth in.
Yeah.
Like it's not the chicken itself is not spicy. It's like a spicy sauce,
Yeah.
and that's like too
Oh.
much.
Yeah.
It like
Oh.
I had an entire drink,
Mhm.
an entire Coke, and it still did not wash away. It was bad.
Oh.
So both of those versions, I'm gonna have to go bottom of the barrel there. Next on the list, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate from Wisconsin folks for this one,
Yes.
Culver's.
Whoa.
Wisconsin
Oh.
Culver's.
Oh.
Okay, now hear me out.
Mm.
I I love Culver's.
Mhm.
I'm a Butterburger fan, custard. It's all good. You're gonna see why when I get to some of the other ones. But to me, my thing from Culver's is the spicy chicken sandwich, and I love that. If I could make this about spicy chicken sandwiches, that's at the top of the list.
Gotcha.
That is number one. But regular chicken sandwich, it just kind of blends in with
Yep.
everything else.
I agree.
So for me to make it number one, it has to be spicy, and you got to do that. It's not quite there for me.
Gotcha.
So, but everything about it is good. It's just not quite there. It's good. It's just not the
No,
best.
makes sense.
So
Makes
that's
sense.
what I got to go with. Yeah. Then I'm gonna make the internet foodies hate me here. Popeyes.
Woo. Woo.
Popeyes, the one that broke the internet.
Oof.
The one that broke the internet, the lines out the doors, the
Yeah.
ones that sold out buns across
Ooh.
America.
Ooh.
Tried it. It is a very good chicken sandwich. It's got everything that you need, but I think in my mind, it was hyped up. It was hyped up too much, and it did not have the sauce. I don't know if it's supposed to, or the one that I had didn't, but the breading on the chicken was great. The chicken itself, once you got past the breading, kind of lacked flavor.
Oof.
The bun was great, the pickles were great, and I'm sure if there was a sauce, they would have done it right, but it wasn't. It wasn't there, or maybe it was, and I just didn't taste it, but it wasn't there. And also, didn't travel well. It got all over me, man. There
Ah.
was breading everywhere, everywhere in the car when I stood up. I mean, even Culver's, I'll put travel ability better on there, but it just it didn't live up. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because it was overhyped, but I didn't like it as much. I mean, not that I say I didn't like it. I didn't like it as much as others.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Oof.
all right. I'm also going to make some people mad with this one. Chick-fil-A, number 3. Chick-fil-A is number 3. Again, it's good. The size is a little bit more compact. It travels well. Um, you got your classic, just bun, chicken, pickles. What more do you need? To me, I think it's a little bit small compared to what you're getting with other places, and sometimes you get a dry piece of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've noticed a little bit more inconsistency, um, but I don't really have that much negative to say about it. I just have that much good to say about my next two.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but like Chick-fil-A, any day of the week, you tell me we're going to Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna jump through the roof. I'm that excited. But these other two are just that good.
All right.
Okay, number 2, Wendy's.
Okay.
Wendy's crispy chicken sandwich. I just kind of had this realization. Wendy's does chicken really well.
They do. They do.
It's juicy. It's consistent. You have a good breading that stays on it. The breading has flavor. You get good flavor out of both the regular and the spicy, and you get your toppings. You get your mayo, your lettuce, tomato, your pickle, or you can just do what you want out of those ones. I like it because it's consistent and it has a lot of flavor. I think there are better buns out there. Like take the Chick-fil-A or any of the other ones, but it's really good and it's always juicy for me. So it stepped up. So I'm putting that at number 2. Number 1, KFC. They do chicken for a living and they do it well. It was flavorful. It was juicy. It had sauce, had a nice thick, juicy, sweet pickle, and a soft bun. And so everything about it was good. And I ate it in the car. Not a thing on me. It was perfectly clean. And I also got to say about the sauce too, it didn't make it overly wet or like dripping or anything, but it added a good bit of flavor to it. It was just kind of like it married well with the rest of it. It was like it was dancing, and everything was just kind of like a smooth movement together, and so it was perfect. So I got to put Chick-fil-A at the top, or excuse me, KFC at the top of the list.
Okay, I hear you. I'm not the chicken sandwich connoisseur that you are, so I'm going to trust your instincts on that one because I'm more of a chicken nuggets type of guy. When I go get chicken, I'm more of the nuggets, so that's where I kind of go. When you said Wendy's, like yes, Wendy's does great spicy nuggets. They do those very very well. So
yeah,
so when you say Wendy's, yep, they do chicken. They do that well.
Yep, Wendy's and Chick-fil-A. I mean, I'd probably put Chick-fil-A ahead on the nugs. But have you ever had Culver's chicken tenders?
Yes, those are good.
Chicken strips or whatever?
Those are good. Those are good.
That's good.
Now,
again, I don't like other than like McDonald's. I don't have any negative things to say about these ones. It's just like everyone above it had something that I liked that took it to the next level.
Oh yeah, the McDonald's chicken sandwich I've heard is not very good. Their nuggets are I always love the McDonald's nuggets. However, I'm missing the spicy nugs at McDonald's. I'm a little upset those aren't back yet. I love spicy nugs.
Oh, those actually were pretty good.
Those were fantastic.
I'll give them that. Yeah.
But they have not brought those back yet. So I'll wait. But I liked your picks. I think you had great insights. I like the fact you said pickles are our number 1 priority on a chicken sandwich. I 100% agree. If there's not pickles on it, it's not going to be good.
Right, and that's what I said is like you got chicken number 1, bun number 2, pickle number 3.
Yep.
The toppings, if you got them and they're good, that's great. If you don't have them and you don't need them, that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy, but here we go, people. At those 2 takes, mine was more of an explanation of a topic. Thom was an actual hot take where he kind of let the internet fire, saying Popeyes is number 4 on that list.
Popeyes was number 4, and then I think between Popeyes and Chick-fil-A being middle of the pack there, people are going to give me some crap.
You're going to blow up the internet on that one. So, and no, we do not have Church's Chicken on there, people. We are not in the Deep South, so we cannot test Church's Chicken, which I've heard.
Yeah, this is all what's available in Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I've heard. I've never had Church's Chicken, even though I have been to Georgia and the Deep South, but I've never had the opportunity to go there. I've heard it's the best, so we will try to do that in sometime in the future.
I've heard some good stuff about Zaxby's chicken too. So,
I've never heard of it.
Zaxby's and Bojangles are a couple of
Oh, yeah,
southern ones that I'd love to try sometime. So if if we're ever down near a Zaxby's, Bojangles, or Church's
yeah.
Chicken, we'll give it a shot and we'll add it to the list. But this is what's available around us. And I had to go to Rockford for the Popeyes too.
Really? Oh,
That's
yeah.
the closest one.
Yeah, Popeyes is kind of one of those things where it's
And
not in every city.
let me tell you, it was not in a great part of Rockford. So I put myself on the line for this segment.
I got you. Thank you for that. We appreciate that every time you put your life on line for the food and for the show. And going into off those great takes, we're going to talk about our game of the week for week 3. Week 2, it was Chiefs Ravens, which lived up to the hype and then some. Tom's Ravens came out 36-35. I don't know how the Chiefs blew that game, like we alluded to earlier. I don't know how I went wrong on that one. But for this week, we have a fantastic game. I think week 3 we should go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the LA Rams. And Tom said, "Oh, heck yeah." That's what we're going with. It is the game. Unfortunately, is a Sunday afternoon game on Fox at 3:25 p.m. in Central Standard Time, the greatest time zone in all the land. And the current lines are suggesting that the game is no more than a 3-point favorite for the Rams or a pick 'em, which essentially means the teams are even or Tampa Bay is slightly better than the Rams if this game is on neutral field. So with that being said, Tom has the coin, or do I have the coin this time? And Tom has to pick. Or
I won last week, so do we continue with you picking?
Yeah, I pick. So I'll probably pick. I'll probably lose. I'll probably win the toss and lose the game because that's how it works out apparently.
All right, you know what's heads, you know what's tails.
I'm going to
try to
go tails again.
Tails again because you won last week off the tails.
Yeah, I usually go heads, but your coin's always tails.
All right, here we go. You son of a gun.
Told you.
Tails.
I think that coin's weighted on the tail side. I don't know how. I don't know what evidence.
All right, I'm just gonna toss it up. I gotta see this now. Tails again.
Yeah, so that coin's weighted. We might have to find a different coin that has a different weight proportion.
Here, I got a quarter. Good old fashioned quarter. I just gotta check.
We're doing science here, people. We're testing things.
It was tails again. So
all right, so
you just got 3 of 3. So.
All right, so something Tom does with flipping is it's tails. So wherever Tom flips, he goes tails. Just expected people. So this is a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. Not because I think they're better than the Buccaneers, but because I think the Buccaneers have to go across the country Sunday afternoon. It tends to be jet lag. I know it's Tom Brady. I know it's the Bucs. But the Bucs didn't look good against the Cowboys on defense. They had moments against the Falcons, but they didn't look tight. I know the Rams didn't look good in portions against the Bears or the Colts. But I'm thinking that a team that's got to fly all the way across the country to play them, they might get lucky and have a big game and win that game. Although neither team is running the football in that game because, well, the Bucs are going to run the football, and the Bucs, because the Rams don't stop the run very well, but the Bucs are going to have a lot more trouble throwing the football because Aaron Donald is a machine. So I'm going to go with Aaron Donald and the Rams because I think the Rams might just have a home field advantage in this game.
And once again, you've taken the team that I was going to take. I was agreeing with all of that. I mean, the Rams defense is really just been stellar thus far. And Matt Stafford on offense, he's clicking. He looks good. He looks in prime form, and so especially coming onto a new team, so hard to argue there. But taking the Bucs this week, you're right. Tom Brady and the Bucs have not quite put everything together. They've been, I'd maybe say like a B, maybe B plus team. Like it's not the best Bucs that we've seen. It's not the Bucs that we saw mid-season last year, but let's also think about what happened week 1 last year. Week 1 last year was not impressive either for the Bucs. That was also a brand new Brady team. But, we saw what he did later on in the season. So I think, third week, we're going to see Brady start to click more. He's going to connect more. I think Chris Godwin is going to play a factor this week, I hope, because I have him in fantasy. I'm just going to throw that in there. That's why I'm saying I hope Chris Godwin does something. But the jet lag, that's not really a concern for me. I mean, these guys do this for a living, and this is going on the road all the way across the country, so it's a little bit different than your normal travel game. but it's nothing that teams have not done before. So I don't think that's going to be as much of a factor as we think. I think what is going to be a factor is whether the Bucs offense can um, get ahead of that Rams defense. That Rams defense does look very good, and whether the Bucs defense can keep up with how Matt Stafford has been performing. So the way that he's been performing and getting ahead on these drives, the defense really has to step up. So again, I said a lot of ifs with the Ravens, and it happened. But if these things click together, Brady connects with his receivers, and they make things happen on the ground. That's going to be huge. If they can make things happen on the ground, then the offense is going to put up a lot of points. If the defense can stop Matt Stafford and lock down in the secondary, then we're also going to see a good defensive game.
By the way, Tom Brady does not need to get any hotter. He's over 800 yards and 9 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. He does not need to get any hotter. It's all about that defense that makes me go.
I think he can get hotter. I mean,
if he gets any hotter, then the whole NFL is in trouble. And I'm a big Tom Brady guy. Everyone knows Tom Brady's my favorite quarterback of all time. If he gets any hotter, he might as well have 3 Hall of Fame resumes for his first 10 years, his second 10 years, and his last 5 years or whatever in Tampa Bay at this point, because it's just that ridiculous. But I think like I said, the thing with the Tampa Bay defense that's got me nervous is that pass defense, and that's what Matt Stafford likes to do is sling it. And I think it's not because their pass defense is bad. I think it's just Todd Bowles blitzes too much. He has Vita Vea, Naganim Sue, Shaq Barrett, and JPP on that D line. Here's what you do with those guys: rush the quarterback. And then everyone else back in the coverage. That's all you have to do. But he seems,
and that's something, because you're right. That's something that we haven't seen a lot of this year is pressure on Matt Stafford.
I mean, when they did that against Dak, when they just rushed forward, their defense played much better. When they were blitzing, Dak picked them apart because they couldn't get to him fast enough because there was too many guys open. So I think it all depends on what Bucs defense we see, and it depends on what Rams offense we see at this point in time.
That's going to be huge.
That's the matchup I'm thinking we're going to see. But
agreed. So another good matchup. We had Chiefs Ravens this week, and we've got or this past week, and then we got
Rams Bucs.
Rams Bucs. That's good.
Potential NFC Championship game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I'm excited for that one.
Oh yeah, I will be watching that game. I don't care if the Bears are playing. I want to watch that. I want to watch this game. I do not care about the Bears game. This game is more fun to me. But like we always say, please follow our Facebook page for updates regarding the show. Tom has been posting those updates that when we're recording the show, so it is a bonus. We're getting better at this. Tom has been killing that.
Hold me accountable to that too.
Tom's been killing that part of it, and you can also comment on our Facebook pages, our YouTube pages, our YouTube videos, Facebook postings of our Anchor stuff, or email us at sportsandmore with CT, capital C, capital T, @gmail.com. Again, emails aren't our big thing. We don't usually get many of those. And yes, I know, Paul, we did see your Facebook posts. And like Tom alluded to earlier, we're just there's technical things we don't have the ability to do so at this time because it's a 2-man show. We need a third person really to do tech stuff.
I would love to add, game of the week down at the ticker.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're working with what we got and the knowledge that we have. But we like also just doing a segment to bring it up too. So I mean, it's working for us right now. And don't forget to comment about the desserts. We're still in championship round. I believe cheesecake is winning by 1. We have like 3 votes.
Hey,
your brother and your mom were in disagreement. So
did Matt go funnel cake?
No, your mom did.
Oh, interesting.
And Ian went.
Oh, cheesecake. Of course. The lactose intolerant person chooses cheesecake because he has no problem blowing up his digestive system.
And then Paul's on my side with cheesecake. So keep it going. We're going to keep that up. We're going to keep reposting it just to have some fun with it. So we'll probably do another week and see where we're at then. But aside from Facebook and email, like Chris said, you can also go to our Anchor page, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a host of other listening platforms. Or as we have also been posting here on YouTube. You can download these episodes in audio form from the podcast hosting sites, or you can actually download the video and watch it on the go if you don't have as much data like me. I don't have a lot of data. So what do? I download our episodes and I watch us on the away from the home. So, and I don't do that because I don't watch. I don't, I don't take us on the road. I'm watching us here live
You're right.
now. But all of our future episodes will continue to be on YouTube.
Yep.
Anything that was prior to this past summer is going to be on Anchor and all the podcast sites alone, just in audio form. So continue to go back and check those out. I don't think we have hit the 1,000 mark yet, so we're getting there. We're almost there. But in the audio form anyway, just from the listening platforms, we have not gotten 1,000 plays yet. I think maybe if you add in the YouTube stuff, we're getting close.
Right.
But we want to get there. So as always, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, toggle those notification bells over to all. Get the bell on. And then also continue to check Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can actually subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so that you know when new episodes go there too.
Very cool. Nice factor. I didn't know we could actually subscribe to our podcast channel on Apple or Spotify. Did not know that was a thing. I just thought they just.
I think I'm a follower on our Spotify.
Nice. Very cool. And we would like to thank all of you, probably the tens and tens of people listening to our ridiculous takes and ramblings on everything from MLB stuff, NFL stuff, cryptocurrencies, chicken sandwiches, and also our NFL game of the week, which I think should have been a Monday Night Football game or preferably a Sunday Night Football game so I get my Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth fix while watching two good teams go at it.
Fair enough. I do think it should have been a prime time game, but we will watch it nonetheless. So our next episode's creation date is to be decided as always, but keep an eye on our Facebook page, which has been more active. And we will give you updates regarding the next episode. Typically, it will be the day of, or in this case, less than 2 hours before we start recording. So until then, as always, please stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, stay free.
Sports and More with Chris and Thom is brought to you by no one. All non-original thoughts and ideas were properly noted during each segment.